Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever time this video finds you. It's your boy Jay here, back at it again with another discussion video. Okay, so Sunbreak is coming to an end, right? We're here mid-March awaiting more news on Title Update 5 to see which monsters are coming. And as of late, we recently did a video talking about the Twitter drops, talking about some of the quality of life features that are coming to Sunbreak. And that kind of shadow drops some gems that are coming, some decos that are coming, and it's like, ooh, this might be the last update, and if not the last, the second to last. So Sunbreak is coming to a close. This game has been great. I've enjoyed it. As you guys can see, I got a whole channel around it. I've loved this game, but a question has lingered in the back of my mind now that I'm thinking about the future of the franchise, now that I'm thinking about what's next, and that question is, what does Capcom do about the hunting horn? So stick around as we explore and talk about the past of the hunting horn, what it is now, and maybe a couple solutions that Capcom could do going forward. So, hunting horn. What is a hunting horn? The extreme TLDR of it is a musical hammer, right? Hunting horn is a blunt weapon, right, which means it deals exhaust and KO damage, much like the hammer does. However, every attack that you can do with the hunting horn can chain into each other, and they all correspond with a musical note. Now, depending on the game, sometimes you may have to perform a recital to play that song, which corresponds to a specific combination of notes. Or in the case of the newest game, Sunbreak, where automatically, as you play the songs, they are affected, right? And these songs, they affect the entirety of the hunting party, right? So if you play a song, attack up, your entire party gets attack up. If you play critical up, your entire party gets critical up, right? So it's almost like a bard type weapon, right? You play musical notes, you string together these cool combos, and you play recitals and buff up your teammates as you dish out exhaust and KO damage to the various monsters that you're fighting. So there's a quick rundown on what exactly a hunting horn is, right? So in my short explanation, I showed you 3 different gameplays, right? I showed you gameplay from Generations Ultimate, I showed you gameplay from Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and I showed you gameplay from Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Now, if you're very perceptive, you can see that one of these gameplay styles is not as similar to the other two as you would think. And that is the newest one, Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak. They kind of overhauled, revamped the hunting horn to make it play quite a bit different than it has in the past, right? Yes, you're still playing songs. Yes, you're still buffing your teammates, but the songs are way simpler. They're played automatically, except for Echo Mode. But Echo Mode is kind of like a callback to how hunting horn used to be. But even then, it's still way simpler. There are less songs. And, the way you go about playing and executing your songs and, approaching combat is way different than it used to be. The weapon is way more fast-paced, less methodical, and a lot of people in the community has called it brain dead or button mashy, which I don't exactly agree with, but I could say it certainly takes less thinking than Iceborne or GU used to. Now, because of the overhaul and the difference in gameplay styles, this really got me thinking about the future of hunting horn, right? I didn't really pick up the hunting horn in the first place until we got that first Rise trailer that showcased the new hunting horn, and I was like, yo, that's looking hype. I want to try that out because I kind of have a policy where if we get a new weapon, I'm going to main the new weapon, at least in the beginning of the Monster Hunter game when it first drops. This was the closest thing we got to a brand new weapon. The weapon was just that different compared to how it used to be. So, with that, I tried out the new hunting horn. I loved it. I played it a lot. And then I went back to the older games and played those hunting horns. And I was like, wait, this is cool too. I like both of these styles, although they're very different, even though like in concept, they're the same, right? Play your songs, buff your teammates, hit the head, create KOs, have fun, right? And people love to see it, right? Your fellow hunters will love to see you if you've got a hunting horn on your back, because they're like, oh baby, I'm about to get these buffs. It's a good time. But they're just so different, and I like them both. And I'll be okay if, Capcom just said, you know what, never mind, scrap the Rise horn, let's just go back to how the horn used to be. I'd be okay with that because I've played a fair bit of older horn myself. However, I think about the players where maybe like Rise and Sunbreak was their first game, and they picked up hunting horn, really loved it. How would those players feel if their weapon just got scrapped? Much the same as how some veterans coming into Rise and Sunbreak felt about, oh, this is hunting horn kind of, but this is not the weapon that I know and love. So what can or should Capcom do here? One of the solutions I came to was maybe they take the new hunting horn and make it its own weapon, and we have another new blunt weapon, right? As far as blunt weapons go, we have the sword and shield, kind of. We got the hammer, heavy, slow, kind of like your greatsword type of thing. And then we've got this new like Rise hunting horn type of thing. We got hunting horn that used to be super unique, like it plays a song, it's slow, it's methodical. But like now we have this Rise hunting horn, which is a little bit quicker, delivers a bit more blows. There's it's a bit more active in the way that it approaches combat. So one of my things that I think maybe can happen, you let me know in the comments down below. The whole point of this video is to start a conversation. So let me know what you think about my solutions to this issue is create another weapon, make it play similarly to Rise hunting horn, right? You can make it buff centric. I say, I don't know, maybe make it a knuckle type weapon, and as you go through specific combos, you'll buff yourself, but only the player, right? So there's still that buff management kind of going on there that makes it have a high skill ceiling, and have the buffs be very short in nature, very short in duration, so that you're not just playing playing the combo, right? Since it's a knuckle type weapon and you're like a fighter, when you execute certain combos, certain buffs come on, and you get to cycle through your buffs as you play. You're still a blunt weapon, you're still going to cause KOs, it's going to look flashy, it's going to look fun, and you can still have your quote-unquote magnificent trio. Have it something like a perfect rush that the SNS has. You can execute it the same way using like a shoulder blood and the X combo, and you do like a perfect rush, but all blunt damage because you got knuckles, you're a fighter type guy, you know what I'm saying? So this way you can appease the people who really enjoy the new hunting horn style. It'll feel very similar. You're still having to combo through your buffs, manage your buffs. It's still quick, it still does blunt damage, and boom, there you go. Those people are satisfied. And then now that that's its own weapon and we have a new blunt weapon, which kind of kills two birds in one stone, right? Like, what do we do about the players that like the new horn? And I feel like Monster Hunter needs a fast blunt weapon, right? So you kill two birds with one stone there, and then you bring back some of the traits from the old hunting horn, right? That being maybe some of the double notes from GU, right? So in GU, whenever you land hits with your hunting horn, you would land a double note. And then when you play a song of all double notes, you actually play two songs in one. You play the song that you played and the song previous, which helps you manage the buffs, which helps you keep your party buffed up, since you can play two songs in one recital, right? And maybe also bring back the song queuing up mechanic from Iceborne. Maybe a mix and match of the two. Maybe you got double notes going on and you can queue up the song. So in Iceborne, when you play your notes in your hunting horn, you can play like up to 3 songs and kind of store them, and then you can go for a super long recital where you play 1, 2, 3 songs at the same time, right? But you're in the animation playing the song, you're jamming out, so you're not really dishing out damage, but you are playing your songs, you are buffing your party, which is gonna raise your DPS anyway, So there's that. Maybe we can bring back a combination of those two mechanics and have that slower, more methodical gameplay and more complex songs and a longer song list to manage to satisfy some of the old guard, some of the older players that have been playing hunting horn and sticking with it throughout the years. Now that right there would be my ideal situation for this hunting horn scenario to play out, right? New horn becomes its own different weapon. It keeps a lot of the mechanics and its old DNA in there. Like, hey, if you like the Rise hunting horn, try this weapon out. We think you'll love it. And then the old horn comes back in its former glory with longer songs and more complicated play. I'd love that. However, there's another solution to this. A lot of people that I see online talking about maybe the future and what mechanics should stay and move to the next game have expressed that they like the idea of switch skill scrolls and switch skills staying around. Capcom could bring the switch skills system forward and, much like how they tried with Echo Mode, they could really lean more into old horn, new horn playstyles and keep both, the old and the new, and have it be switchable via switch swap scrolling, right? Maybe they make Echo Mode a bit more complicated. Maybe Echo Mode has a different song list and, it plays more like its old counterpart. And then, you can have the performance mode kind of stick to the new style where the songs are played automatically and your recital is used more for like iframes and self-improvement. So that also would be a nice solution. Not as nice of a solution as your boy came up with, but I'll admit my solution is a lot of work. Like, that is not a simple solution, because creating a new weapon type and making it make sense and interact with all the monsters correctly, and now you got to make all these models and all these weapons. It's crazy, it's complicated, and it's hard work. It's hard work. So I wouldn't even be mad if my solution didn't come to pass, right? So those are kind of the two solutions that I kind of bounce around in my head, putting myself in Capcom shoes. Like, man, how would I progress from here? Like, what would I do? You know what I mean? So yeah, those are just my ideas. I'm gonna turn the microphone over to you, viewers of this video. Have you thought about this issue? Let me know in the comments down below what you think of and what you think Capcom can do about moving the hunting horn forward in the franchise. Do you like my idea of, maybe separating the horn into a new weapon and, having that be its own thing, and then we go back to old horn style with complicated songs and recitals, or whatever? Maybe you guys have this idea that I haven't even thought of, that hasn't even crossed my mind, and it's so good that I'm glad we made this video and we made contact, and you put your idea down below. So if you put a comment in this video, I'll respond to it. I'll respond to each and every comment that hits this video. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the discussion that maybe comes of this video and talking about one of, my newer favorite weapons in the franchise, that being hunting horn. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And as always, people, happy hunting. Peace.